The Xbox Series X Halo Edition is one of the most powerful consoles in the 9th generation. The original controller for the Halo Edition is quite the collector's item as well. Let's go on an adventure to convert an original Xbox Series X controller to the Halo Edition for everyday use. Here are all the parts I will be using to do this conversion, ordered from the company with a smiley face. You're watching the Retro Pez. Here is an original Xbox Series X controller. This is what we're going to use to convert. We're going to get started by taking this cover off. I've already done the removal of the sticker using a heat gun. I put it on sticker paper so that I can apply it later on. Other tutorials you watch would just poke a hole there. The kit came with these two tools and separator, but I'm also going to be using a plastic spudger. That way we don't scratch the plastic. Let's get started with the orange screwdriver. Now these side grips are plastic, so I'm going to use the plastic spudger to remove so that we don't scratch the base plastic. Try to keep it looking new. And there we go. There's the first one. It almost sounds like you're breaking the controller, but it's okay. Just gotta take your time. And these covers will pop right off. Now we're gonna remove the rest of the screws. The top comes off very easily. We're going to remove thumbstick buttons. And the back cover comes off fairly easy as well. So we're going to do this tutorial just a little bit differently than the other tutorials you've seen. The buttons don't remove until you remove the circuit board. Now, other tutorials show that you need to remove the rumble motors at the triggers, undoing the wires. But if you're careful enough, you should be able to remove the board without having to remove the rumble motors. So we're going to take the 2 screws here off. We're going to use the plastic spudger tool. We're going to remove this plate. There's 2 little clips right here. And then it pops right off. Just like that. Little tabs right there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the shoulder buttons. We're going to start in this corner and pop off that little tab. And it lifts right off, just like that. So, in order to remove the button board, we're going to need some length. So we're going to remove the rumble motor wires and move them out of the way. Just like that. You just got to be careful not to pull too hard and tear the wires. Especially right here. Here we go. Now we got some length. We should be able to pull the board away. But before we do that, let's go ahead and pop the antenna wires off. And move them out of the way. And now, there's a little connector right here. You just gotta lift. There you go. Just like that. And now the board is free. Make sure to also remove the headphone plug. And now we're going to go ahead and remove the 6 screws holding the button board. So let's go ahead and use the T6 and get started. All right, we're going to go ahead and pull the board out. That's the button board. And now we have access to the buttons and the membrane right here. Also, be careful with that sync button. If it pops out, just make sure you put it back before you put the board on. There's the membrane. We're going to move that off the way. And there are all of the buttons. Let's go ahead and remove the buttons. Just like that. Now the new button kit says that it's compatible with the Elite controller and the Series X and the Series S. But it's important to note that all of the buttons are not exactly the same except for the A, B, X, and Y. So those are the only buttons we're going to be using out of the kit. And we'll remove the rest of them off to the side. So these are all the buttons that we're going to be using to put back into the controller. So there's the Xbox home button. There's the 3 little buttons that go under that. Now, you don't need to worry about the orientation because just like any other controller, each of the buttons has their own little tabs that only go in one way. Alright, so the home button and the menu buttons are in place. So let's go ahead and put in the A, B, X, and Y. Again, all the buttons only go in one direction, so you can't get it wrong. And the last button, B. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to put the membrane back on. Just like that. And now we're going to put the button board right back in like that. And now to secure it back in place. All right. Now, we're going to go ahead and put the top board back on. But don't forget the headphone plug. It just sandwiches in between the two boards. So just line it up carefully. And all you got to do is just click right here. Press down, and you're good. It's back in place. Now you got to put 2 more screws to hold the board in place. Just move the rumble motor wires in, kind of tuck it in. And now we'll reattach the antenna wires. The coaxial plugs are tiny, so take your time and be patient. You do not want to damage the plug. And there we go. All right, so now it's time to reroute the trigger rumble motor wires. And so what I want to do is I want to just make sure they're kind of in place, and we're going to put the shoulder buttons back on. Got to push back on the trigger a little. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing on the left side. Just make sure your wire is in the channel, and then we're going to click the trigger or the shoulder button down, and now they're set. This is going to give it a little bit of slack for the trigger buttons so that we can go ahead and put the wires into the channels around and secure it. All right, that's done. Now let's go ahead and do the left side. As you're channeling the wire around, just lift up with your nail the little metal piece here and slip it under carefully. There you go. And then channel it around under the clips and to the back. Just like that. Now go ahead and just tuck the excess wire behind the bigger rumble motors. Now we're going to go ahead and take this cover and pop it back in place. The two clips right there. And make sure the sync button works. Nice. All right, so let's go ahead and add the thumbsticks. Coming together real nice. All the buttons are nice and free. All right, so we're going to put the back cover on, but make sure to pay attention to these two tabs here for the battery. Slip it in there. That way you don't accidentally bend it. Just like that. And now we're going to get the aftermarket cover. Perfect fit. Now we're going to go ahead and secure all the screws into the back cover. final detail is going to be the side grips. This is the original one. As you saw earlier at the beginning of the video, I got a hold of these rubberized grips, which are very similar to the Halo Edition controller. And they just pop right into place. Just like that. All right, put the batteries in. And there you have it. And we're done. Original and modified for everyday use. Look at that. Whoa. Thanks for joining me on this adventure to convert an original controller over to a Series X Halo Edition for everyday use. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow all my links below. This is Retro Pez. Thank you for watching.